Hi guys and girls, back with another video, and in less than a week this coming Saturday we have one of the biggest heavyweight rematches in many years against Daniel Cormier and also Stipe Miocic. Now these guys have met obviously once before, last year in July, and I mean it was a very surprising fight to say the least. Stipe was the favourite, and but obviously Daniel has a really good following and has very good stats in terms of what he's achieved in his career. But in terms of weight, height, reach, many different factors of Stipe, and general his skill as a overall fighter, people had him pipped as the winner, and as we'll see in this the clip here now from their match last year, he was total knocked out. He had a TKO from the elbow. So he was as shocked as everyone else was in the crowd and all the viewers. But these things happen in UFC and in all types of fighting sports, boxing in particular. It just takes one good hit sometimes in that right sweet spot, and you go down like a ton of bricks. And that's what happened here. And sadly for Stipe, he lost his title, and Daniel claimed it. And Daniel has sufficient power behind him. I mean, he really does pack a punch. And it was only a few times that they went to the ground, but they didn't actually do any rolling or submission work. It was stand up throughout, and I think that was a good thing in many ways, because obviously for Daniel, he's a very successful wrestler. His background is in wrestling, and he's won many titles over the years for his country and professionally in wrestling. It would have been interesting to see the sort of groundwork that would have gone in with these guys, but as you see, it's it's more like a boxing match, because there's no attempt apart from the odd time to go to the ground. We've obviously got some kicks, got some high kicks here, and some low blows, but obviously you'll see any moment now is the final hit on Stipe from Daniel. There we go. So look at that, straight down. Shocking, but very entertaining at the same time. So just to give you guys a bit of a background on Stipe, he's an American-born athlete with Croatian descent, and he's been active in the UFC professionally since 2010. Now, up until last year when he lost to Daniel, he'd actually successfully managed to hold on to his title for 3 consecutive years, which made it a record in the UFC for the heavyweight division. Now, I don't know about you, but that's some pretty good stats there. And looking ahead, as you can see, I've just put up the numbers there. He has had so many successful wins and hardly any losses. Those numbers really don't lie, and he is certainly a physical athlete and also a technical fighter. That is without a shadow of a doubt. There's still more to come from Stipe, and I don't think this is the last we've seen of him. I'm confident that if he brings his A game in terms of his boxing style and also the groundwork, we could see a very different fight. I mean, obviously we saw that it was a lot of stand-up from it. The whole fight was stand-up. So hopefully we can see a bit more actual mixed martial arts this time, and the guys, they go to the ground and it survives more than a round, because we want to really test these guys in terms of what they can do with their skills in martial arts, not just have a quick punch or elbow and end it, because it's impressive, but it's also slightly boring, and it's a lot of hype and build up for something so short-lived. So I really hope that Stipe brings something different this time, and he can avoid getting those clips and hits early from Daniel, because otherwise it's potentially going to be another short fight, and none of us want to see that. We want to see what Stipe can really do, because we all know what he's capable of. 3 times champion. I mean, that's certainly something that should prove that he can do a lot more than just go down like a sack of potatoes from one hit from one new guy who's come up in the weight divisions. So let's see what Stipe can do. I'm interested to see what you guys can think. Let me know in the comments below. Now moving on to Stipe's opponent and the current UFC heavyweight champion. Daniel Cormier is an absolute legend in the sport now. He actually came up from the light heavyweight division to then go on and take out the 3-time defending champion Stipe to win the heavyweight title. And he's one of the first men obviously in history to do so, winning 2 titles and beating someone who couldn't be beaten. Now, obviously Daniel now has a lot of success and a lot of confidence, and he has actually had a fight or two since his last fight with Stipe 13 months ago. He was obviously going to have a fight with Brock Lesnar, but that was called off once Brock announced that he was going to retire, which is a real shame because that would have been a pretty cool fight. But I think Brock realised that he's out of the game. He may still have size, but his fitness and conditioning, I personally feel, wasn't there anymore, and he had his time. And it's time for new people. So Daniel being obviously the new champion, everyone's got him, their bets on that he's going to reclaim it. He definitely has a lot going for him in terms of his success in his career, both being an Olympic champion in wrestling, and also just all his sporting accolades in general, particularly with the UFC. Not many men can go up in weight classes and win. So, I would say that I think personally Daniel, he could have this again. He's obviously proven his ability in stand-up. He's got some real power to him. He can really hit hard. And, of course, when it comes to the ground, he's fantastic. And I would like to see him actually take Stipe to the ground, and they have some submission work and grappling and more wrestling. I don't want to just see punching and kicking. The stand-up is good, but we've seen that before. This rematch needs to be different. There needs to be something new to essentially prove that these two are all-round fighters and use what they've learned and what they know against each other. We don't want to see a quick fight, like I said before. We want to see real MMA. We want to see real fighters using everything they know in their arsenal to beat one another. And I hope Daniel is going to add something new to this fight. He says he's got nothing to prove. He's just doing it because the fans want it. Of course, there's money involved and whatnot, and it's good for his career, but he has already proven himself. But of course, he's won the title, but to defend the title for the second time against the former three-time champion, this would be obviously something for him that would put him up really in the history books for being an amazing fighter. And I believe Daniel can do it. Stipe, I will say, is still the most impressive fighter in the heavyweight division of all time. But I think possibly that Daniel may be that new name and that new person who's come through to take over and be the new heavyweight champion again, and also someone to go down in history for what they can do. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to take it, and how do you think the fight's going to go? Is it going to be another quick fight, one round from Daniel, or is Stipe gonna surprise us all? Is it going to be an endurance fight? I mean, it would be good to see a few rounds from this and some actual bloodshed and some gore, essentially. Some guys going to town on one another and lasting through the rounds and really challenging each other both technically, physically and mentally. So let me know what you guys think. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and also remember to subscribe and share if you haven't already. I hope you guys enjoy the fight. I can't wait for it myself. Have a good weekend, and until next time, Omega One Fitness signing out.